Hellblade. Hellblade. You guys know I'm not the biggest Hellblade fan. You guys know that I don't really mess with this brand too much. But one thing I will say about Hellblade 2, even though I'm sick, even though I'm still recovering from the sickness, these Hellblade 2 previews, they looking pretty good, man. I didn't even know this was going to happen. Most of the time when giant previews like this launch out, I hear some whispers or, someone is teasing it. Maybe I missed it. Put in the comment section below if any of these people have been teasing this. But there's a lot of stuff coming out there about Hellblade 2. A lot of information is being launched. And even though I don't really care about this franchise this much, I know a lot of my fans, they love them some Hellblade 2. So let's go over these Hellblade 2 previews. First off, the game runs at 30 frames on the Series S and X with dynamic resolution. There's no performance mode. We'll get to that here later. You guys know how I feel about that. You guys know I'm not going to like that. Setsuna is traveling to Iceland to hunt down the Vikings that destroyed her home in the first game. Otherworldly creatures like drogs and giants roam the land. Combat is similar to the first game, but impact of hits feels heavier. Fights are 100% mocapped. Parry window appears less forgiving this time around. Increased variety of enemy types plus attack animations for Setsuna. And the new abilities, a handheld mirror that can temporarily slow down enemies to land combos. Poses are largely familiar. Find runic shapes in the environments. There are no secrets hidden in the environments that can be discovered. And quieter movements when you check in on allies. So right there kind of shows you that Hellblade's going to be a significantly bigger game than the original one. One thing I do want to point out is something that I think we all knew for the most part is this game apparently is the best looking game that a lot of these media folks have looked around. They're going out there and they're saying it's one of the best highlighted games that they've ever seen. There's a quote going around by IGN. Hellblade 2 is undeniably one of the most graphical, impressive games I've ever played. GameSpot said, I can't believe the last time a game left me so excited to play the full experience. And then, Polygon said it wasn't expecting the experience of a next-gen moment until I played Hellblade 2. Some of those I'm putting in my own words. The crazy part about this is what I'm really enjoying is just to see exactly Xbox getting such a brand such as Hellblade, and looks like that they did catapult this. This will be a $50 price tag, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, especially for the consumer standpoint. But it is interesting that they have chose to make this game $50, and I'm wondering how that puts their AAA titles going forward, such as like Avowed. Next thing I want to talk about is, the otherworldly creatures like drogs and giants are roaming the lands. Does that mean there's like a little bit of an open world aspect to it, maybe hub world, or is this just them stating that these creatures will be in the world? I'm leaning more towards the second part, because I don't think anything that they've said about this game doesn't make it even look like it's a hub world in any way, shape, or form. It does look like it's going to be, more segregated to what you're actually playing in a line. I do think it's going to be more of that. I don't think it's going to be like a hub world whatsoever. I do think that this game and the developers really focused on what this game looks like more than what a game plays like. Because from everything I'm saying is it's looking like it really went a +1 on just the graphical intentions of this game. Maybe that's just because they didn't play a whole lot of the game. Maybe we'll see a lot more of like the combat going into it later on, where the combat evolves. Because that's the biggest thing I'm worried about. is they didn't evolve the combat like drastically. Because when you play a sequel to a game such as Hellblade, you expect the combat to drastically improve. But I'm not really getting that vibe, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. So definitely put in the comment section below what you guys feel about that. I really do hope that they improved the aspects of Hellblade, where it is more meaningful people when going from the first to the second one. Puzzles are largely familiar. I know a lot of people didn't like the puzzle aspect of Hellblade. I kind of feel like that is one of the things that made the first one like stand out a little bit from what I've been told, is like the puzzles are kind of like God of War, where the puzzles are part of the game. So I'm kind of curious how, they go about that. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The 30 frames a second on the Series S and X. I will be playing this on the PC because at this point, if you don't even at least give me a performance mode, then I don't even want to play your game on the Xbox or any platform for that matter. I have played every game on performance mode. It doesn't matter what it is. I played, just recently Spider-Man 2 on performance mode, and apparently, that game looks really rough on performance mode compared to the fidelity mode. But to me, I care about how the game feels than it plays, and I understand it's easier to market how a game looks over how it feels. But to me, it's always been, does the game feel good? And I've always felt like 60 frames is really essential to make a game feel good. Does it mean it's necessary to play the game? I would say yes, but I can understand when people argue that it's not, because clearly a lot of people don't mind the 30 frames as long as the game looks really good. To me, I'm the other way around. I want the game to feel good. I don't necessarily care about a game and how it and how it looks. Now, it's going to look a little bad, a little worse compared to, the 30 frames mode. I understand that, but I do think it's a mistake not to put a performance mode in Hellblade 2. Now, I don't know if that's strictly because it can't do it because maybe a CPU bottleneck, or they just simply didn't have time to implement one into the game from time restraints. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how Hellblade 2 works. I do think it's one of the most important games that Microsoft is going to publish, because I think it's going to be that first game and one of the first studios that they purchased where it's saying, look, this is what happens when you partner with Microsoft, with Xbox. This is how we're going to elevate the brand, and this is what we're going to do here going forward. I think that's going to be a huge point going forward in this brand. I think Avowed's one of those games too. It's like, these are the studios we bought first, and these is what their sequels are doing, and this is how much we helped them go forward with their brand. So I'm very curious to hear what your guys' opinion on the comment section below. I apologize for the lack of content. I'm going to try to get another video out tomorrow. As you can tell, my voice is still pretty weak, but I appreciate everyone coming through. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. It was rough to do this video, but I was definitely interested in the Hellblade 2 content. Definitely going to go back. Obviously you guys have heard me say multiple times I didn't play Hellblade 1. I'm going to go back, and I'm actually going to think about streaming that over in the Addict arena once my voice is fully recovered. But I appreciate everyone coming through. Until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.